Hello again. In the United States, the phenomenon of robberies by flash mobs is spreading fast. In this type of robbery, which is similar to the steaming that used to take place when groups of youths would invade a tube train, say, and run through it, mugging everybody in sight, the flash mob robberies are very similar. Groups of youths meet by pre-arrangement at various shops, and then they go through them really fast, stealing whatever they can. Whole streets in New York have been ransacked by mobs of African Americans in this way, and it's been seen also on the other side of America in Los Angeles. There can be little doubt that some of the incidents which were seen in this country carried out by Caribbeans are copycat crimes. They've seen TikTok videos showing black people in America carrying off anything from designer clothes to cigarettes and alcohol, and feel there's no reason why the same tactics should not work in London or Nottingham. Of course, the stupidity and weakness of the British police also encourages these crimes. The police will not attend shops now to deal with shoplifters, and it might be argued that looting raids fall into the same category of what the police now regard as non-crimes. Then too, the police are already making excuses for rioting and looting. The National Police Chiefs Council has prepared a paper in which they say that it is expected that the cost of living crisis will cause an increase in burglary and robbery. What they do not mention, of course, is that the great majority of such crimes, such as mugging and looting, that is, are carried out by one particular ethnicity. Of course, rioting and disorder with the aim of stealing things is one strand of what we are now seeing in Britain. It's not the only cause of rioting, though. Yesterday saw two other riots in London. In the early hours of Sunday morning, one man was killed and others wounded when 100 black men fought each other with machetes and knives. This followed a church social held at the New Testament Church of God in Mile End. Some people can even use a party at a church as an excuse for murder and rioting. Hours later, a disturbance broke out at the Eritrean embassy in Islington. The headline from the Evening Standard about this incident is simply priceless. It reads, "Islington arrests as huge brawl breaks out during peaceful protest near Eritrean embassy." Some viewers might have noticed that the word peaceful has to be included in any news story of violent disorder involving black people to show that no racism is intended. As in the Notting Hill Carnival, for example, which was largely peaceful, apart from the odd murder, a dozen stabbings, and more than 70 police officers being assaulted, that is. I have no idea what was happening at the Eritrean embassy, other than that a load of black men were fighting each other. Rioting and disorder in Britain generally seems to have a common thread running through it, whether it takes place after a meeting at a church, a protest at an embassy, a carnival, or a looting expedition at a sweet shop. The common thread is, of course, the presence of young black men. I do not say, of course, that all young black men are violent and disorderly, but it is undeniably the case that recent disturbances in the capital have all included this ethnic group, which may, of course, be purely coincidental. I have a horrible suspicion that we're going to see a lot more looting and disorder on the streets in the coming months. Whether this is something to do with an inability to defer gratification or restrain impulses, I do not know, but it does seem to be the case that certain ethnicities are more prone to kick off like this than others. The cost of living crisis is causing many people to tighten their belts and study their household budgeting, while at the same time providing others with an excuse to go mad and steal things from shops. This is the case in America, and it seems to be, alas, the case also in this country. I suspect that we are not going to be seeing mobs of Hindus on the rampage in city streets in the lead up to Christmas, but I would be very surprised if we didn't see more looting by other ethnic groups.